We know diet culture is toxic. Diet industry is in the billionaires. They want to make money.
Hey guys, welcome to Coffee with the Collective podcast. We are your hosts, Raven and Tamar. Today we have an amazing guest. She is a dietitian. She specializes in PCOS and diabetes. This is Prab Simran.
Hi, Raven and Tamar. Thank you so much for having me at Bold X Collective podcast. What a dream. Yes, my name is Prab Simran. You can call me Prab. I specialize in PCOS and diabetes, and I specifically love working with the South Asian population. And I just love the work that I do because I myself live with PCOS, so I understand how hard it is, and I want to help all the other women out there.
For those that don't know, can you tell us a little bit about PCOS?
Yeah, for sure. So PCOS is a condition that affects women, and it affects 1 in 10 women. It's the leading cause of infertility. And there is different ways that you can diagnose PCOS, but it's basically a condition that impacts a woman's menstrual cycle and her ability to conceive. And it not only has implications when trying to conceive, but on a day-to-day basis. Like some women might feel they might experience weight gain, they might experience hair loss, acne, mood swings, fatigue, they're tired. It just impacts you on a day-to-day and a long-term basis. It can be a very hard condition to live with.
Yeah, and we've seen over the last couple of months, especially on TikTok, so many people have been sharing their experiences with PCOS. So it's a big thing and it's affecting a lot of women, whether it's with their career, they can't even go out sometimes, they can't go to the gym, and it's just so many things happening. So I know, Tamar, you've experienced something like this as well.
Yeah, so in terms of myself, I undergo of like PCOS a little bit. And it's really hard at times because at first, like, I didn't know I was diagnosed with PCOS. I was like, oh, like, my acne or like, like other symptoms of PCOS. And then after, like, I consulted with a doctor and they were like, you're like on the verge of getting PCOS and like, you already have it a little bit. And then I started like looking into TikTok and Instagram and finding a lot of women who are experiencing the same thing. And I kind of went into that rabbit hole and I followed a lot of women who are treating PCOS and who are trying to become better. So I really enjoy that. And I'm really glad that you're doing the same thing. You're sharing your journey. You're giving so many advice to so many people and you're helping them out. And so like, how do you, in terms of like your social media, how do you go about it? What kind of content do you produce?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I definitely myself take inspiration from other influencers already in the space of PCOS and women's health. It's really nice to see what they're already doing, just get an idea of what the audience likes to see. I also it's a little bit easier for me because I put myself in the shoes of another PCOS girly. Like we go through similar things on a day-to-day basis. So just showing what a day-to-day looks like in a PCOS girly's life, right? Because I live that and trying to build that empathy, trying to build that personal connection. And then it's the world of AI.
Yeah.
So I love using like ChatGPT to my advantage and just putting in prompts to help like schedule content or just get ideas as well.
I love that you're so authentic when it comes to your content. I personally watch your content on a daily basis.
I know.
And you're becoming very consistent.
You are.
So
I see you.
So I know your content creation process, you get a lot of inspiration. You use ChatGPT. How are you finding the whole authenticity side of it? People are being authentic now. That's what the trend is. So how are you staying true to your brand and how are you being authentic?
I love that you asked that question because it makes me reflect out loud and just be accountable. You're so right. Like there's just so many people out there on social media, right? And it's like, how do you differentiate yourself from the crowd? And I think that's where being authentic and building your personal brand and your personal story and telling that tale is so important. So I think for me, like I really reflect on what makes me different. And I think just being a South Asian woman, having a different background, being a registered dietitian, a healthcare professional steps me aside for most of the individuals who talk about PCOS, who sometimes are more predominantly white, or Caucasian, or they just be sharing their personal stories or have no healthcare background. So I think for myself, it's just bringing my expertise forward, bringing a different side of the story that, you know, South Asian women go through this and are actually more affected than Caucasians, and telling that story and saying to people that it's okay to come up and share that you have PCOS, because I think women's health is so not talked about. And when you have someone that looks like you, it just encourages you to take action and share your story.
Yeah, and like me personally, I don't just follow anybody. I follow people who have their own stories to tell.
I'm the same. I always love to follow women that are authentic, and just influencers or creators or even business owners that are just authentic and aren't afraid to share their story, where they came from, why they did it, and how they're helping people, and especially education. Education is the biggest trend now in 2024. Everyone is educating. That is the new influence. Education, top 3 tips, how to regrow your hair after you lost it, things like that. Like, there's so much knowledge now, and knowledge is power. So everyone's really welcoming these people that are spreading so much knowledge, people like you.
Yeah, and also showcasing your personality out there, like being personal, telling stories, like, you know, if like you grab your phone and tell your own story, that's being authentic.
Yeah, and you come from a background of PCOS. You actually dealt with that, and you dealt with like the harms of it and all of the
Nightmares.
You know all about it. So that makes the story even more rich to me, because I'm like, she dealt with it. She knows the problems. So I can understand, I can resonate, and I can learn from someone who actually knows it. So I love that you specialize in women's health.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned a really big thing, knowledge is power, because as I mentioned, like 70% of cases go undiagnosed, and that's because it's just not talked enough about. And unfortunately, there's not that many professionals doing the talking. I don't mean to undermine anyone's story. I mean, when you go through it, you want to share it, but it's often not research backed. And when it's not research backed, it doesn't come with weightage, right? The same that
It's true. Good content is proven through actual data. You need data, you need analytics, you need to know that this research is legit. So knowledge is power, and backing the knowledge up with real research is key.
Absolutely. And I think that's really the gap I want to fill, because sometimes when PCOS clients come to me, they're like, oh my God, I've stopped eating dairy. I've cut out gluten. I've done all this stuff because they read it, like they watch TikTok and Instagram, and that's a great source of information. But they're maybe doing more harm than good to themselves, right? So again, filling those knowledge gaps is something I strive for, and just making sure that we have the right information out there.
That's really good. That's amazing. So there is one specific thing I want to touch on, because you are a dietitian. How important is breakfast?
Oh my God, such a good question.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Is it?
In my opinion, yes. And I'm going to give some reasons why. Some people may not agree with me, totally okay. But breakfast is an important meal of the day because it sets you up for success. Back in the day, our grandmothers used to say, eat breakfast like a king. And then I forgot, lunch like a knight or something, and dinner like a pauper. So basically don't eat much dinner. But the reason is because especially we lead busy lifestyles, when we're on the go constantly and we forget to eat or just grab a cup of coffee, we're usually in like work mode and stress mode, and we go a long period of time without eating. Most of the people I talk to, they have like snacks on their table. So they'll grab the next brownie, the next chips, just because they're hungry and they're looking for convenience. And what are we doing there? We're having high calorie foods with like literally no nutrition. And then we go into, not to say that they're bad, they can be enjoyed in moderation. But you know, if we're doing it every day, and then you go into your lunch and you're going to have a huge ass meal, right? And what we're doing is we're fluctuating our blood sugars like crazy. And especially in PCOS and in overall general population, diabetes is on the rise. So I always recommend that we try to balance our blood sugars out, balance our energy levels out, balance our mood, help our digestion. Breakfast is important.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good information. I remember back in the day we had this conversation. Yeah. Since then I've been eating breakfast. So breakfast to me now is one of the most important things, and I find that I think faster, I move faster. I have energy to work out. I just feel I'm always on the ball. I can't go a day without breakfast now.
Yeah. And do you recommend having like something savory in the morning or sweet? Is that like, because I know that's like a controversial topic.
It's a very controversial topic, even in the dietetic space. I would personally say savory, not to say that you cannot enjoy sweet. The only reason I say that, again, is the blood sugar piece. In the morning, we are a little bit more resistant to absorbing sugars. Our body's just waking up, right? So when we give it a higher carbohydrate load, carbohydrates are things that break down into sugar. So like your bread, pasta, rice, right? And then you add something like, I don't know, you throw in maple syrup or have like sweetened oats.
Yeah.
You can really increase that load on your body.
Okay.
And then when your sugar, when you have added sugars, your sugar goes up real quick and comes down real quick. And when that crash happens is when your mood goes down, your energy levels go down,
My
right?
goodness.
Yeah.
You feel that afternoon slump. So I usually say a higher protein, higher fiber. Let's cut back on the added sugars.
Okay. So like, what's your go-to breakfast?
Eggs.
Eggs?
I'm a lazy girl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not necessarily lazy. It is
It's
healthy.
healthy.
Or a protein powder smoothie. Like,
Okay.
even if I'm having something I know, because I live with PCOS, so I really have to keep in mind of my sugars, I will do a protein smoothie quickly, because if we put in protein before the carb, it helps to slow down the breakdown of that sugar process, and your blood sugars rise less. So that's a trick.
Wow.
Having
Okay,
the
I just learned
protein
something new
before
to
the
carb. Wow.
implement in my smoothies now.
Yeah.
So
Good info.
protein and then
The carb.
the carbs.
Well,
Okay.
that may not be possible if you mix everything in your smoothie, right? But let's say
Yeah.
that you're going to be eating oats for the day, then add protein powder into your oats, right? Add something higher in protein or have it on the side. That'll just help you to cut back on the carb and also add protein, which will keep you full throughout the day and also improve your craving, like lessen your cravings
Yeah.
For sure.
and improve your mood and energy levels.
All
Okay.
right. Interesting.
That brings me to another question. Okay, so being a business owner, we always work. We're always on the go, hustling. Okay, food's
So
important.
inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Food's really important, and there are some days I get very moody.
Yeah.
After if my diet's not on point.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? Why does diet affect your mood so much?
It's my favorite topic. It's blood sugars. So usually, well, it can be a bit more, but usually, let's say when you go long periods without eating, remember you haven't eaten, so your body doesn't have much fuel left. And it also can be what you were eating. Again, if you have higher carb foods and that's all you eat for the day, you're going to come crashing down. And then if you're searching for convenience foods, they're going to keep going up and down, up and down. It's a pendulum. So when you have a very well-balanced meal, not only does it keep you full for the day, but it also helps to balance your blood sugars when you add that protein, when you add those healthy fats, when you add those vegetables. Unfortunately, the day and age we live in, most of the convenience foods are usually high carb. And they're not only high carb, but they're not the best choice of carb. They're low in fiber, right? They're low in any nutrition, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So stopping and having that meal or even a balanced snack if you're like running around is so important.
It's true. It's true. Honestly, if you work in business or you're always on the go, have a meal plan.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of taking away from this. Build an actual meal plan so I can ensure I'm constantly getting the right food.
I make meal
Yeah.
plans, so you can come my way.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know who to go to for meal
Yeah,
plans.
of course.
Your dietitian, your local dietitian here in Toronto. Yeah. So I will definitely come to you for my meal plans because diet plays a really big role in our jobs. Again, being on the go, I always grab whatever I can. Sometimes I'll starve myself for like 10, 11,
Same.
12 hours.
Same.
That's so bad considering we go to the gym. So we go to the gym starving sometimes.
Yeah, I do go to the gym. I
Yeah.
go to the gym sometimes after work, and I do intermittent fasting. Okay, so I open my fast 12:30 or like 1, and I have my breakfast / lunch then, and then sometimes I'll have a lunch if I'm feeling like it, but sometimes usually not. And then after I go to the gym. And then I go back home at it's usually 8:30, and that's when I have my dinner. So I eat twice a day, but then I have a big gap where I'm not eating at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not good.
Tell us about it. Is
Yeah.
intermittent fasting good or bad from a dietitian's perspective?
For sure. I think I'll just explain what it is first, because I think people don't really get the whole origin story where it comes from. Intermittent fasting really stems from the older times, right? Back in the day when we were hunters and gatherers and we just didn't have food so available like we do nowadays. So what would happen is that you had to work to get your food. right? And you wouldn't be constantly eating. Like if you wanted to have breakfast, you'd have to hunt or gather and then cook. So what we do in intermittent fasting is we put a pause to your digestive system. Like we're not going to be constantly eating because what's the North American lifestyle, right? In the morning, you're rushing to work. You're going to stop at Tim Hortons or McDonald's, pick up your bagel or coffee, and then go to work, right? And then you're going to constantly be snacking. So what intermittent fasting does, it puts a pause. Where people go wrong is that they would intermittent fast, but then eat whatever the hell they want to eat for the rest of the day. And that's what we don't want. There is research backing that intermittent fasting can be helpful, right? Some people may use it for weight loss. Some people may use it for improving their blood sugars. There is different periods. Like you can fast starting from like 12 hours to 14 hours to 16 hours. What I usually encourage is that building a practice of eating dinner early, right? So eating dinner early has a lot of health benefits. Helps in terms of making sure that your food is digested and well absorbed. So helps digestion, helps balance your blood sugars, can help with weight as well. And then if you eat an earlier dinner, likely you'll kind of automatically intermittent fast.
Yeah.
Right? Because by the time you get to breakfast the next morning. So that's how I kind of encourage it. And then I also say intermittent fasting, it doesn't stop there. You got to also have those balanced meals, those balanced snacks throughout the day.
Definitely. Okay, that's really good to know. So how many meals and how many snacks do you typically have during a day?
I usually do 3 meals.
Okay.
And snacks only really when I need it. I'm not a snack kind of girl. It's very individualized.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's no really right or wrong answer. Meals are also a man-made construct, right? Like we get a lunch break, then we have like a breakfast time and a dinner time. Some people do 2 meals a day. It really depends on what your requirements are for the day and what your requirements are for your body.
All right. So that does bring me to another question that I have. I don't usually ask this question, but I wanted to ask you because I'm very, very curious. What is the weirdest client that you had? Can you tell us any stories of any client with some weird expectations or weird requests?
Yeah, I feel so bad. I don't want to call my client weird. But I had a pregnant lady who had gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is a diabetes you get when you're pregnant. It's because of the hormones going whack. And she told me she's doing the keto diet and wants to do the keto diet. For anyone who doesn't know, but keto diet's like trending, is that it's little to no carb. Right?
Yeah.
So basically it's a diet people go on to lose weight. And a pregnant lady does not need to lose weight. She needs to gain weight, right? The reason why she was doing that, because she was very scared for her blood sugars to go higher, because she's read all of the stuff about like carbs being bad for you, carbs raises your blood sugars. So she stopped eating carb. And we kind of had to have a chat. And I'm glad you asked this question, because I think it's important to let people know carbs are not bad for you. It's just really about the type of carb you're having, the amount of carb you're having, and what you're having it with, right? When we choose more high fiber, whole grains, multigrains, we have them with our proteins, our healthy fats, and we're also being mindful of our portions and balancing them. They do the right thing for us. We need them for energy. Literally, our brain's first source of energy is glucose, which is blood sugars, which carbohydrates are converted into the body. So that was a crazy story I had because she was losing weight. Her baby wasn't growing. I'm like, girl, we need to get you back on carbs.
That's crazy. Carbs are so important. Do you ever see those memes where the girl's eating pasta and it's like, carbs are my best friend? Or, I can't live without carbs. That's me. I can't live without carbs. I need carbs.
Yeah, everybody does.
I tried keto. It didn't work for me. I mean, kudos to people that are able to do it, but I can't do it. I need carbs. Rice, couscous, bread, pasta. I need it. I can't live without it. So
like without carbs, my energy levels are down. Always fatigue, like no matter what I'm doing. And I can't even lift at the gym.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you go on a keto diet, how does it affect you with your mood? And I know a couple of people that have, and I'll be honest, like every single experience I've heard of was traumatic. Yeah. Like people, like I knew someone who fainted at the gym.
Yeah.
I knew someone who lost all her hair because like the hormonal imbalances, and she was just so grumpy and miserable.
Wow.
Yeah, there's just been so many crazy traumatic stories that I'm scared I will never do keto just because I feel like I'm not educated enough to do it. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I think keto has done people good, right? Like, I think there are successful weight loss stories out there. The only thing is it's a diet, right? And we know diets are not sustainable. We know diet culture is toxic. Diet industry is in the billionaires. They want to make money. When you go on keto, it's a whole adjustment for your body, right? Because usually our body is used to using a source of energy through food. That's what carbs are for. When we go on keto, what our body is doing is actually breaking down ketones in the body. So when we have excessive energy, it's stored in the body as like fat and ketones. And that's what it's breaking down. So that's how you lose weight. Right?
Yeah.
We're just breaking down the fat. Now, again, remember, we need carbs for energy levels and our mood. When you go on keto initially, you'll be noticing you're grumpy, right? You don't have energy. You're tired. And it's a huge adjustment. And oftentimes, people might go on a super binge after because it was so restrictive. Like, you've literally stopped having carbs.
And you gain all the weight back,
And then
right?
you gain all the way back. So it's not sustainable.
Oh my God. It's like, why did you put your body through that?
Yeah.
Oh, I understand. It's really tough.
You want to do something that is sustainable for your entire life. You don't want to just do something for a short period of time. Oh, I'm going to lose. Because I know a lot of people for like when wedding season comes, they're like, oh,
I know.
I'm going to starve myself. Or like, I'm going to be on the keto diet until like June.
Exactly.
And then after the wedding, I can eat whatever I want. That's the worst thing
Oh
ever.
my goodness. I'm so glad you brought that up. Okay. Women that are getting married, what is your advice to them when it comes to diet? Because I went to go get a dress fitting done a while ago, and I was just, I was talking to one of the ladies there, and so many brides were coming up to her, and she was saying, like, she was telling them, like, oh, you better lose that weight. I was like, that is so mean.
No
and
way.
she's like, if you want to fit in this size, whatever, you need to lose some weight. And then when I heard that, I was like, that's so like uncool.
Wait,
It
the
was not cool.
workers?
Yeah, the workers were saying it.
Okay.
So, sorry, I want you to just talk about it. Tell us all about it, because I know you've dealt with this before.
All the brown aunties need to like shut up. Like, it is so toxic. You cannot say that. That's just such a toxic culture. Anybody who wants to be a bride, her choice, her body, whatever size she wants to be and whatever dress she wants to wear, you're beautiful on your wedding day. So, oh my God, I can't believe that. And I think that really needs to just go away.
When I heard it, I was like, I wanted to say something.
Mind your business.
Yeah, mind your business. But when it comes to that, I know a lot of women will restrict themselves so much, they won't be eating normal. Like, I've had friends that have done it too. And it pains me to see that. I'm like, no, just live a healthy lifestyle. You don't need to restrict yourself like this. What's your thought on that as a dietitian?
I love that you asked that question. I'm just going to add a little bit more detail to answer that, to give context. I think a lot of the times when people want to do a health journey, whether that's losing weight for their wedding or whether they got diagnosed with something and they want to improve it, they go all in. And like they just like become a completely new person, like a New Year's resolution. And I'm like, you understand, your health is a long-term process. Your body is with you till the day you die. So you got to invest in it every single day. It's a long-term game. It's no short-term success. So for someone who wants to look good for their wedding, my only thing would be is that take steps that are sustainable and fit your lifestyle, right? That you can carry forward once you are married. Because you know what? The next step might be you want to have a baby. And then what are you going to do? Only be healthy for having a baby? And then you have to raise the baby. You're going to have to be healthy, right? So health is a long-term investment. There's no short-term success. And if it is, it's not usually sustainable. Try to set up items like work with a healthcare professional, work with a dietitian, work with your doctor, whatever it is. But set up things in your routine that make sense for you and takes you towards leading a healthy lifestyle.
I love that advice. I love that. And I think everyone needs to hear that. It doesn't matter your gender. Doesn't matter if you're getting married or not. I think everyone needs to hear that, because I feel like there's too much restriction and too much, I guess the media and social media just really
the culture
gets into people's head, and they get very insecure about their diets and they just starve themselves or eat the wrong things because they're trying to restrict themselves from carbs and things like that. So I'm glad you gave that advice.
Yeah.
That's some amazing advice. So as a dietitian, the last question I have for you is, what is some advice you would give to other people? It doesn't have to be women only, anybody. What advice would you give to them when it comes to health and wellness?
I think my biggest advice would be to definitely work with somebody like a registered professional. Again, it can be whatever they believe in, like a dietitian. It can be a naturopath. It can be their doctor. But choose somebody and stay, because they will help you to stay accountable, and they will also provide you with research back evidence to support their healthcare journey. I think that's step number one, because there's way too much information out there, and it can definitely get overwhelming if you don't have that healthcare background. And second step is to work with somebody who's open-minded and also understanding of their lifestyle, right? Because a lot of times when you go to somebody, they will just be like prescriptive. Do this, do that. But that doesn't help me, right? That doesn't fit with who I am and how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
So choose somebody who you vibe with, right? Who understands
I completely agree with you on that. That's so important. Even for us, when we work with clients, we want to get to know them. We never just say, okay, this is what your business needs. This is what we're going to do for you. It's like, we want to know your story. Why do you do what you do? What made you passionate about what you do? What's your background?
Yeah.
It's all about branding, right? Personal branding. It kind of ties in with that. We want to get to know you.
We take the time to research with them, get to know them, ask them questions, even like sometimes their hobbies, what they like to do, because we like to have a personal connection with them. We don't just sign clients just because, like, we're in it for the money. No,
it's, there's passion to it. And I love that you have that passion and that care.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it stems from because I live with PCOS, and when I wanted help, nobody was there to help me, right? They're just like, you're fine, go on your own. And when women are left undiagnosed, when they don't know what to do, I want to know their story, and I want to know that you can be helped. Like, there is help, right? So for everyone, and I think social media makes it easier, actually, because you can see your doctor or whoever the healthcare professional is, their personality. Like, no offense, but if nobody has a Instagram account or a webpage, I don't want to work with you.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
We see I don't know your story.
We see it all the time.
Even when I'm like getting my nails done, like if I'm trying to find a person, like a nail tech or like, I don't know, a lash tech, I always go on their Instagram to see their personality. I stalk them throughout all their stories because I want to know how they work and how they work with clients before I actually go in and book with them.
100%.
Super important. And also like social media listening. You go through the comments. Is this person legit?
Oh, yeah.
I saw a dress company the other day and I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful work. And then I go through the comments. People are like, my packages didn't arrive. It's been 2 months, 3 months. I was going to tell you.
Oh, no
But
way.
anyways,
Okay, I'm not
point
ordering.
is, social media is important. And it's really important to do your research. That's why having someone credible like yourself and creating all this content, sharing your stories, he gets so much positive feedback, which is awesome. That makes you such a credible source. And I'm going to come to you for these services because I need it. And I don't want to go to anyone else because I've been seeing your content and I trust you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being you.
Oh my goodness. You're going to make me cry.
That's cute. You'll be the second person to cry.
Oh, well, I'll produce some tears.
Oh, man. Well, it was so nice to have you, Prab. We learned so much.
Oh, yeah.
We got a crash course on diet, and I really hope that this podcast helps other people because diet plays a really big role in your everyday life, your mood, your lifestyle, your ability to be able to do things, your relationships even. Food is everything in our lives. So this was very insightful.
Thank you for coming and sharing your experience with us.
We hope to have you back again soon.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. Thank you, Tamar and Raven. I just love that we're all like sisters living our best life and helping others live their best life too.
Oh yeah, for sure.